All right, so let's dive into this world
Okay.
of royalty, intrigue, and survival. We're going right into Tudor England,
Right.
where one woman, she managed to not just exist, but thrive
Hmm.
in this whirlwind of power and danger.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a crazy time.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, we're talking about Catherine Parr,
Katherine
the
Parr,
sixth, the final wife
the final wife.
of King Henry VIII.
Oh, King Henry VIII.
Now you might be
Oh,
thinking,
here we go.
here we go again.
Another Henry VIII.
Wives' tale. But trust me, Catherine's story, this is not just some simple footnote
Right.
in history.
It's way more than that.
Way more than that.
We have some really great source material that we're working with today. We're using an episode of the Noble Blood podcast,
Okay.
which is, it paints such a vivid picture of her life and times.
Wow.
And then we've got some insights from a paranormal podcast
Oh, fun.
that throws in a really, really interesting twist.
I love it.
I think you're going to like that. So what's fascinating to me about Katherine is that she wasn't like some naive young girl
Right.
who was just plucked out from obscurity,
Yeah.
before catching Henry's eye. She was already twice widowed.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual, right?
I mean, that really sets her apart, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, in those days, a woman's options after losing a husband
Oh, so limited.
were so limited.
Extreme.
It speaks to her resilience,
Absolutely.
resourcefulness.
I mean, can you imagine
Oh, no.
navigating those constraints?
Forget about once.
Not once, but twice.
Twice.
And then
Ending up at the heart of the most powerful court in England.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, she wasn't just surviving.
No.
She was flourishing.
Yeah.
She was known for her intellect, her fluency in multiple languages,
Oh,
and
so
even
impressive.
her passion for religious scholarship.
Yeah, especially when you think about
I mean, you think about it,
what was expected.
the expectations for women at the time.
I mean, they were supposed to be seen and not heard,
Mhm.
right? And, focus on domestic duties rather than all this intellectual stuff.
I mean, I just wonder, what was her life like before the crown?
I know.
It's so interesting.
It really makes you think.
And it's even more interesting when you think about the state of Henry VIII when she enters the picture.
Yeah. I mean, he was no longer the dashing young prince
No.
by this point, right? He was in his 50s.
Oh, yeah. Riddled with health problems. A bad reputation.
Yeah. I mean, he went through 5 wives already.
5 wives, 2 beheaded,
Yeah.
1 annulled,
One died.
1 died shortly after childbirth.
And another one, well,
Just say,
let's just say.
it didn't end well for most of them.
No.
So why would Katherine agree to marry him?
I mean,
It's crazy.
yeah, that's the question.
It's baffled historians
For a century.
for centuries.
I mean,
It wasn't really an option to refuse the king, was it?
well, I mean, can you imagine the pressure?
Oh, the pressure
The potential consequences.
for your family.
They're yourself.
Yourself, yeah.
I mean,
But we have to remember that duty and ambition played a huge role
a huge role
back then.
back then. Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, there was a sliver of genuine affection.
You never know.
You never know.
Could be.
But, to her credit, Katherine was far from just a passive bystander
Oh, yeah.
in this role
Definitely not.
of queen.
Yeah, she served as regent.
She did, while Henry was away at war,
Ooh.
which just shows her capability and her political acumen.
Yeah, she's not just sitting back looking pretty.
No. And here's something groundbreaking.
Okay.
Katherine published a book.
What?
It was called Prayers or Meditations.
Really?
And this made her the first queen in England to publish under her own name.
Wow, that's amazing.
Think about the audacity of that.
In a time when
When women's voices...
it was so often silenced.
And it wasn't just some fluffy romance novel.
Oh, right. I mean, this was religious scholarship.
It was.
It revealed her deep intellectual curiosity,
Wow.
her commitment to faith.
I wonder what those around her really thought.
Yeah.
Here she was, this intelligent, capable woman,
Yeah.
standing beside this king,
Right.
who was notorious
Oh, yeah.
for his
right.
volatile temper.
And his difficulty with commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but palace life wasn't all witty banter and book clubs, right?
No.
Things got pretty tense.
Oh, especially when it came to religion.
Yes. I mean, you got to remember, this was a period of immense religious upheaval,
It was.
with England shifting away from Catholicism and towards Protestantism.
And Katherine, with her Protestant leanings,
Oh, yeah, walking a tightrope.
found herself walking
Very
a
dangerous.
dangerous tightrope.
Very dangerous.
The Noble Blood podcast really dives into this.
Does it?
It does, highlighting the case of Anne Askew,
Anne Askew.
a woman who was burned at the stake for heresy.
Wow, so this is a chilling reminder
Of
of the very real dangers
Oh, absolutely.
that existed for anyone who dared to challenge the religious beliefs at the time.
It's true. And the authorities were actively trying to connect Katherine to Anne Askew.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
hoping to use her as a way to bring down the queen.
I mean, can you imagine the pressure?
Oh, I can only imagine.
Every word, every action scrutinized,
A single misstep.
a single misstep,
I mean,
devastating consequences.
devastating consequences.
I mean, she must have had incredible strength
Oh, yeah.
and composure.
And even in the face of that danger,
Right.
she managed to survive
Wow.
and outmaneuver her opponents.
She sounds pretty amazing.
She does.
Yeah.
Our sources describe this dramatic scene
Okay.
where Henry actually signs a warrant for her arrest.
Really?
Can you imagine?
That's a chilling thought, right?
To be married to someone with that power,
Yeah.
knowing they could turn on you.
In an instant.
Just like that. But Katherine, as always, used her intelligence
To her advantage.
to her advantage.
She always did.
She found out about the warrant
Okay.
and confronted Henry directly.
Wow, that's bold.
This is one of the most remarkable things about her personality.
Okay.
This ability to adapt and
Yeah.
manipulate.
But not in like a,
Not in a bad way,
not in a mean way.
but as a survival mechanism.
Yeah, as a way to stay alive.
The podcast describes how she basically played the role
Okay.
of the demure and obedient wife,
Right.
praising Henry's wisdom,
Oh, smart.
claiming that their theological debates were all for his benefit.
I mean, that's brilliant.
It's such a brilliant strategy.
It is.
She knew that Henry just craved validation.
Right.
He wanted to be seen as the ultimate authority
Of course.
by stroking his ego.
Yeah.
She diffused the situation
Wow.
and escaped.
That's
What could have been a grim fate.
it's incredible.
It's amazing the level of control
Right.
and composure
Yeah.
she
Wow.
what was going through her mind.
I know, I wonder.
But in the midst of all of this,
Okay.
all this political and religious turmoil,
Right.
Katherine also had another layer to her life,
Okay.
a romantic one.
All right.
This is where Thomas Seymour comes in.
Thomas Seymour.
Our noble blood source paints him as this dashing figure,
Oh, I like him already.
handsome,
Yeah.
charming,
Okay.
but ambitious.
Oh, I don't know if I like that so much.
Perhaps a bit scheming,
Yeah.
but he was definitely a player in the Tudor court,
Nose.
navigating those treacherous waters of power and influence.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And it seems Katherine was quite smitten
Oh, really?
with him,
Wow.
even before she married Henry.
Interesting.
The podcast mentions this letter she wrote to Seymour,
Okay.
expressing her desire to marry him before anyone else.
So that adds a whole other, dimension
It really does.
to her decision to marry Henry, right?
It does. It makes you think,
Imagine sacrificing true love
true love,
for a life of duty.
duty and uncertainty.
Yeah, I don't know.
A classic what if.
A classic what if.
But as we know,
Yeah.
Henry's reign couldn't last forever.
True, that's true.
And when he finally passed away,
Yeah.
Katherine was free
To marry Thomas.
to marry Thomas.
It's a little fairy tale, right?
It does feel like a moment of triumph.
Right.
After all those years of,
Yeah.
walking on
What,
eggshells.
like a towing around.
She finally got to choose her own path.
That's right, she did.
But the sources suggest
Okay.
that their marriage wasn't without its complications.
Oh.
They rushed into it
Okay.
before getting the young king's approval,
Oh,
which
yeah.
caused quite a scandal.
That's not good.
And then there's the darker side of Thomas Seymour
Of
that we
that?
probably shouldn't shy away from.
No, we should address it.
It's important to acknowledge that his ambition
Right.
might have gone beyond
Okay.
just securing an advantageous marriage.
Yeah.
There were rumors, and even some historical evidence
No fear.
suggesting that he was inappropriate with Princess Elizabeth,
Oh, wow.
who was living with them.
I did not know that at the time.
That's a dark turn.
It really is.
It makes you reevaluate him, right?
It does. His whole character.
It raises questions about Catherine's role in all this.
Yeah, it does.
Was she aware of his behavior?
Right.
Did she try to intervene?
So many questions.
We don't know.
No easy answers.
But let's step back for a moment
Okay.
and consider her legacy
Okay.
as a whole.
Yeah.
What do you think she'd want to be remembered for?
That's a good question.
And
More than just Henry VIII's wife. right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she was an intellectual, a writer, a queen.
She was a survivor.
She was a survivor.
She navigated that dangerous world
with grace.
with grace and intelligence.
And intelligence.
The Noble Blood episode really emphasizes
Okay.
that she was far from a passive player
Oh, she was not.
in the Tudor drama.
She made moves.
She made strategic choices,
Strategic.
used her wit to disarm her enemies,
Wow.
and ultimately left her mark on history.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And that's what's so fascinating about Katherine Parr.
Yeah.
She was a woman of contradictions,
Right.
balancing ambition and piety,
Okay.
intellectual curiosity and political maneuvering.
Right.
She was a product of her time,
Yeah.
yet also someone who pushed the boundaries
Right.
of what was expected of women.
That's so important.
And speaking of pushing boundaries,
Okay.
this paranormal podcast that we mentioned
Oh, yeah, I was waiting for this.
throws in this truly bizarre twist
Ooh.
to the story.
Okay, tell me more.
This tale of Catherine's coffin,
Okay.
it's a bit morbid,
All right.
but it's memorable.
Okay.
Apparently, centuries after her death,
Yeah.
her tomb was opened
Okay.
and her body was found to be incredibly well preserved.
Well, that's unusual, right?
Very unusual.
Yeah.
Some even claimed that she looked like she was simply sleeping.
What?
It's the craftsmanship of those Tudor undertakers.
Oh, yeah, they were good.
But it also adds this touch of the supernatural
Oh, I like it.
to her story.
Okay.
But here's the weird part.
Okay.
When they opened the coffin again later,
Uh-huh.
all that was left were bones.
Oh, wow.
And an ivy plant had grown inside,
Wow.
forming a sort of crown around her skull.
Oh, that's eerie but beautiful.
It's like nature itself was paying tribute to the queen.
I mean, wow, what a striking image.
It's a striking image, right?
Yeah.
It really captures this enduring fascination
Yeah.
with Katherine Parr.
Right.
Centuries later,
We're still.
we're still talking about her,
I know.
debating her choices,
Right.
trying to understand the woman behind the crown.
What a legacy.
It makes you think
It does.
about the impact we leave behind, the stories that continue to be told
Yeah.
long after we're gone.
Long after we're gone.
And in Catherine's case,
yeah.
it's the story of resilience,
It is.
intelligence,
And the complexity.
and the complexities
This is
navigating a world
where power and love
where power and love
were often intertwined.
were often intertwined. Makes you think,
Yes.
what will we be remembered for centuries from now?
Wow.
But on a more serious note,
Yeah.
what really strikes me
Okay.
is that Katherine Parr's story,
Yeah.
it isn't just about surviving Henry VIII.
No.
It's about her agency, her
Mhm.
intellect,
Right.
even her romantic pursuits
Right.
in a time when those things were often denied to women.
Absolutely. I mean, it challenges us to think about history not just as like dates and battles,
Right.
but as a tapestry
Yeah.
woven from the lives of real people
It is about the people.
with all their complexities and ambitions and flaws.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the grandeur of the Tudor court,
Oh, the grandeur.
but
But these were individuals facing real dilemmas,
making choices
making choices.
and profound consequences.
And Catherine's story highlights
The limited options.
the limited options
for women, even those in positions of power.
even in positions of power.
But even within those limitations,
Yeah.
she carved out a space for herself, leaving a legacy
Yeah.
that continues to intrigue us
That's amazing.
all these centuries later.
So, having explored all these facets of Katherine Parr's life,
Okay.
what stands out to you
Oh, okay.
as her most significant achievement?
That's a tough question.
It is.
She accomplished so much,
She really did.
but I think
Yeah.
it's her unwavering commitment
Okay.
to education,
I like that.
both for herself and for others.
And others.
You know, she used her platform as queen
Yeah.
to promote literacy,
Yeah.
learning. She even established schools for
Yeah.
girls.
That's a legacy.
That transcends
All the political and religious turmoil.
the turmoil of our
Her time.
It really speaks to her character,
It does.
even amidst all that. The drama and danger,
the danger of a Tudor court.
she never lost sight
Never.
of the importance of knowledge and intellectual growth.
And let's not forget her courage
Oh, absolutely.
in standing up
Standing up.
for her Protestant beliefs,
Even
even when it put her at odds
right.
with the most powerful man in England.
It's true.
It's a reminder
It is.
that conviction
Yeah.
and integrity
Exist.
can exist.
Even in the most challenging.
Challenging circumstances.
Yeah.
Absolutely, she was a woman
She was.
who defied expectations,
Right.
navigated treacherous waters
That's great.
with grace and intelligence,
And intelligence.
and left an indelible mark.
Mark on
History.
in history. That's right.
So for anyone listening who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed
Overwhelmed.
by the complexities of life,
Yeah, we all feel that way sometime.
remember Katherine Parr?
Remember Katherine Parr?
She faced down a king,
Wow.
outsmarted her enemies,
Right?
found time for love,
She did.
and even managed to write a bestseller.
Wow. What a woman.
Talk about a role model.
Talk about a role model.
And that brings us to the end
Wow.
of our deep dive
Okay.
into the life of Katherine Parr.
The woman who not only
The woman who not only survived Henry VIII,
but thrived.
but thrived
Yeah,
in a world that could easily swallowed her whole.
it's true.
We hope you enjoyed this journey
We did.
into Tudor England.
Yeah.
And maybe you gleaned some insights
Not fully.
into resilience, ambition,
And the surprising
and those surprising twists and turns
twists and turns
that history can take.
that history can take. That's right.
Be sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive,
Yes.
where we will continue to explore
These fascinating corners
of history, science, and culture.
in culture. It's all here.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring,
Yeah.
and keep those questions coming.
Keep them coming.